Hi, Heather Carter from Nature Hills Farm. This is a continuation of our Seed to Start series where we talked about actually planting in the cells. And I just went on too long in the last video, so I'm cutting it into two videos. And this is the last thing that we're going to plant. We're going to do some of our lettuce here. This is a heat tolerant lettuce. I do these in trays. And this is super simple. So I take my lettuce and I literally just carefully sprinkle this over the top of my tray. Now I will end up transplanting this later, and I will take a video of that when we transplant as well. But I'm not going to use this entire packet for one. There's a lot of seeds left in there. That's easily, we'll do another tray. Okay, so I spread them all out, and I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of soil over the top of it and then pack it down. I like to water from the bottom of lettuces until they really get going, bottom watering, so I can put these trays actually into another tray that doesn't have holes in it, and it will hold the water, and then throughout the day it'll just suck up that water. Okay, so now I'm just, again, covering up the seeds, packing this down so that the seeds don't get washed out when we water, especially if you don't have the ability to bottom water. If you're not going to bottom water, you could also spray it, like with a little spray bottle, until germination happens. You really do want to keep them very wet until they germinate. So there we go, that's our tray. So now we have planted lettuce, and we planted some zinnias in the 4-inch cells, and then we planted some of our 6-packs with tomato seeds. And again, if you haven't watched my other videos, you can watch those, but I'll just give you a little tour of the greenhouse. It's getting dark outside, so it's the lighting is kind of funny, but I've got all my arugulas and lettuce mixes in trays here, and you can see how nicely they're growing. All my brassicas over here. We've got kale and cabbage and cauliflower and celery and flowers, loads of flowers, and they're just starting to come up. So just to recap here, you can plant in your 6-inch cells. You want to plant something that you're not necessarily going to transplant, but maybe you want to later on, like a tomato, a pepper, an eggplant. Your 4-inch cells, I wouldn't start many things in there unless it's something that is like a flower that you're going to let get really big before you put outside or transplant into your 4-inch cells. And then trays, I like to plant in my trays things like lettuces, something that I'm actually going to take the whole tray out to the greenhouse, and I'm going to transplant them kind of in clumps, and I'll show you that in the later video. Another thing you could do in your 4-inch cells are herbs. I like to do herbs because you can put, I like a lot of herbs in one cell, and then I'll transplant those into a pot later. So that is part 2 of our part 3, actually, because we broke part 2 into 2 parts. So of our Seed to Start series, planting in cells.